Maybe, perhaps. Let's find out. Yeah, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. Hey, now. There we go. There we are. I've already put everything up on the different social medias. Just need to close that out so I don't get hammered by Discord pings. Quit Discord. There we go. People will start trickling in now. Well, in the next couple minutes. Doo doo doo. Hello, hello. I'd say something about lovely bunch of coconuts, doodly doot, but I don't want to get the video taken down. Well, hello, people. We got the first few already here. They were on the button just waiting. Look at that. It's really weird to watch the number double. 8, 17. Well, okay. Sorry. Welcome in, everyone. I'm gonna just give it another minute or two for people to fill out before I start in with the usual rundown of everything that's been going on. You did, in fact, make it, Guardian. Well done. I'm not normally here. Bedtime was a few hours ago. Well, Burn the Mage, I hope that you don't regret life's decisions. But hey, sometimes you burn a few mages to get by. Wait. Ooh, a little single malt. It's not bad. Not bad, Breg. It's not bad at all. Off of work a few weeks. I mean, as long as the bills are getting paid, Burn, more power to you. That's where most people normally have that worry of taking extra time off is, well, how is this gonna work? All right. We've let it roll for a couple of minutes. We have 20 people here. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the recap for everyone, so you guys can go ahead with comments and questions. Because remember, comments and questions is what keeps the live chat rolling for all of us. Because when I run out of things to talk about, then we get an awkward moment. And we don't need any more awkwardness than me. Because I'm already awkward enough. So let's see. It was last month, was Aether's Revival 8 Proven Strength was put out. It was February 8th, I believe. It did what Aether's does. Solid book. Never any worries with Aethers. Um, The audio for Aethers is currently being recorded by Andy, but she's doing split days between the Wandering Inn and Aethers, trying to get them both done this month. More power to her. It's not easy when she does that. Um, Also on the audio front, Lux Voice 7 came out. So that is out there for people who would love to jump on to the audio version of Doc. Con- Continued story. Excuse me. Wow. I really shouldn't burp into the mic. I'm going to try not to do that. Um, and then what is coming up next is currently having um, chapters put up on Patreon. Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to go over here so I can grab this real quick. It is Heavenly Chaos. And we'll just throw that up there because I can do that because it's my channel. Heavenly Chaos, the preview chapters are starting to go up on Patreon. The first chapter is free to anyone. You don't even have to be a free subscriber. Absolutely everyone should be able to read that first chapter. Heavenly Chaos is going to deal with um, trauma again and how people can work through that. Um, it is a cultivation series, but it's more of a quasi-futuristic cultivation series, but with medieval elements mixed in. It's a really odd mashup. For the people who have been reading it, I've gotten good feedback from it so far. Um, so hopefully that continues that way. We shall have to wait and see how people continue to like it. Currently, as you can see down there, it is slated for April 24th. Of course, I always try to push out books earlier than projected release dates. Of course, that is already up from the earlier projection of May 1st. So we're already taking days off, or time off of the publication schedule. And then after that, we're going to have Antecedents Legacy 3, Terran Tactics, slated currently for June 24th. And as I said, Andy is currently recording the audio for Aether's 8. So that is books here and now and what is going on. Next month, guys, April, hang on, boop, 19, 20, 21 is JordanCon in Atlanta. They're going to have their first Lit RPG track at that convention. I am going to be there. For anyone who is going to attend JordanCon, I am going to make sure to have limited special giveaway item for those people who are there. So if you are going to attend, there's something to look forward to. I'm going to ask you to only take one of said items, so there is enough to go around for everyone. We will see how we do. And I don't want to say more than that because it's still a work in progress currently, and hopefully it doesn't fuck up and make me a giant liar. I shouldn't have said anything. Probably. These are the choices we've made. Next month's live chat will be on the 15th at 3 p.m. So I will remind people of these things once more time before JordanCon comes around. And then for the rest of the conventions this year, I am once again a recognized attending pro for DragonCon, which is in Atlanta the last week of August, first part of September. And then I will be at the Author Nation convention in Las Vegas in November, which was previously 20 books to 50K, Las Vegas. So we have things. There are 3 conventions I'm going to hit this year. We will see how much that wrecks me by the end of the year to see what I do and do not do again. But things to look forward to for some people. Now I'm going to come over here and slowly, I hope, start to try to catch up to you guys. We will see how far you guys have run off ahead of me. But that's good. I tend to wait for the audiobooks. How goes Heavenly Chaos? Well, Guardian, we don't know yet. Hasn't been published. The preview chapters up on Patreon have been well received by the people who've read them. So there is that. Of course, most of my comments come from the highest tier I have, the diehards, which I very much appreciate. I have, of course, the most in the low chapter tier, but I only get like 1 or 2 comments from those patrons there. Words are hard today, guys, and it's late for me, so I apologize. I'm going to be stumbling a lot over words, so you're aware. That is a thing. Do you get a prize, Guardian? It will depend. So for those people who don't know, at the end of all of this, I will get a collection of names from people whose comments I've replied to, questions I've answered, people who've helped keep the chat going. My moderators take all those names, put them on a list for me. We then random number generate a set number of winners, minimum 5. If we get a lot of people on the list, I have bumped it up as much as to 7 before, just so there's always at least a 10% chance of somebody winning. That has run as high as 20% before. I think it's 25% once, actually, but still. So as long as you comment, get a question in there that I reply to, those kinds of things, you have a chance of being one of the people that I will contact later here via Twitch, via the little whispers button in the upper right-hand corner. So tomorrow afternoon, like 24 hours from now or slightly before, make sure to check that, see if you're one of the winners, because I would like to get the coins sent off to people, because the prizes are your choice of one of the challenge coins for the different series that I have, and I have one for every current published series. Heavenly Chaos is still a work in progress. So for those people who are like, "Whoa, maybe I can hold on to it," that no, it doesn't work that way. You get to choose from the ones that I have on hand, not banking for one that I will get done eventually because I'm still waiting for the artwork for that coin. So there is that. Did Sammy find her Daniel be good Nerf gun? No, she has not. I hope she doesn't watch the stream later so she doesn't find out because she's not in the room, Outlaw. So, because I'm an adult. You're not awkward. You're awesome for doing this. I appreciate that, Bragg, but I am 100% awkward. Trust me. When it comes to dealing with people, awkwardness ensues. It's just the way it is. I give away my spoons and become more awkward as the night goes on. Oh, hello there, General Kenobi. How are things in an in the After Binding Worlds world? How well did the finale perform? In line with the rest of the series, Guardian. Binding Words finished off decently strong. Um, it did not finish off in the realms of Alpha World or the way Aethers is going, but it was solidly strong across the board for Binding Words. Reading the first chapter for free. I think you're a drug dealer. The same sales methodology. Well, again, I mean, thanks. I guess. I'm slightly torn on how to take that one. Honestly, I'm glad that you enjoy them enough to like be like this is what I need, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to be equated to a drug dealer. Honestly, uh, I got a question for Ogre. Is Andrea's partner Hayes the same Hayes who narrates? No, Andy's partner Hayes McGee, is not Jeff Hayes. So no, they are two different Hayeses. I could see where you would be confused if you're in the genre, but no, I will help you kill that theory. How did you like the sixth book of Vixen Warbride? I really enjoyed all of Vixen Warbride. He left the series like I leave a lot of my series. He ends the story he was telling, but there is plenty of what of things that could happen after that. But it leaves the main character Ben in a good solid spot of he had his moment. Um, like you guys asked me, I would love to see more of what he gets up to after that, but at the same time, if that muse isn't speaking to him, I can't fault the man for having set the series down. Um, I think he did a phenomenal job with Vixen Warbride. I really enjoyed that series. That's why I've pimped it out as much as I have. It would be very nice, but pond hopping is not possible for me. Fair enough, Jazz. That is one of those things that would get problematic. Ogre Lord, have you been fighting the good fight for super Earth and democracy? No, I don't fight for politics, General Kenobi. I don't do it. Religion and politics are the two things I don't get involved in because they will only lead to fights. That's why my Discord and Facebook server have the rules: no, no politics, no religion, because we try not to do that. I say formally because, from what I understand, management for the convention is changing over and they're rebranding McKnight. So it's 1 a.m. here in the UK. Whiskey helps keep me going. Well, Breg, I mean, it is a Friday night, so it's perfectly acceptable, these kinds of things. As long as you don't got work in the morning that you're going to have a hangover for, then, more power to you. I tend to use the challenge coins as pogs for bosses in D&D. I mean, some of them have like the Aether's coin is probably a large creature. I think it would take up a 3x3. It might take up a 4x4, honestly. It might be huge. So, I mean, if you want quick and easy, big space taker, they would do that. Good evening, Daniel. I know you're working on Antecedents Legacy 3. When will it be coming out? If it's not a spoiler, that is. Um, it's right down there in the lower left-hand corner, and also a pin post set up by one of my mods. Terran Tactics is currently slated for June 24th as an ebook, and of course, audio always takes a little longer. Both Heavenly Chaos and Antecedents are signed through Podium with Andy as the narrator. That was one of the concessions for me signing those series with them, is that Andy would still be the narrator for my books. Um, she agreed, they agreed, so we are rolling both of those series through Podium. They have a marketing department. It's something that I'm terrible at, so hopefully that means more sales? Question mark. Is Sean's story in Binding Words done, and/or do you have more stories in that universe? Sean's story is done. He had his time. He has set the mantle of main character down. I will not revisit Sean as a main character. Period. End of story. I will not revisit Albrecht as a main character for Alpha World. Um, both Apocalypse Gates and Dungeon Walkers are quasi finished, but I reserve the right to eventually, maybe at one point, go back and pick them up if, like mortgage is completely paid off and car payments are done, and I can make a little less money and not have to worry about it. Um, so there is they are done, but you can cling to a small fragment of hope, but I wouldn't expect anything for 5-10 years on that front, guys. If that's what you're really holding out hope for, it's gonna be a long time. So, but main characters whose stories came to a full end, they're done. Will I ever use that another story set in that universe? If if somebody comes to me with a story that's set there, sure. Guys, you have to remember, I'm just an after action reporter. I tell you what my characters tell me. So, what will Antecedents Legacy 3 be tackling without any spoilers? Xander's continued story in the different multiverse that he's in. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. There you go. No spoilers. I made it. Spoons or sporks? Because the cult of the spork is still going strong. I am referring to the oh geez, words. The social theory of spoons. Basically, for your extrovert, they gain spoons the more they interact with people. But your introverts have to keep giving away the limited spoons they have when they interact with people. Being the introverted ogre that would like to sit in his cave and not deal with people, it means I hemorrhage spoons on these days. But I could make it sporks just because. Slightly stabby spoons. Spoof. Uh, do 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 do. Hey, Paul. Glad you could make it. I'm in the group, and I'm in Anderley's Catharian Gambit Facebook. That's why I knew anything at all. Oh, fair enough, McKnight. Uh, what is the concept that you really want to tackle as a writer that may not be feasible, or you just haven't had the opportunity to get? That that's way more highbrow than I'm ever going to be, Guardian. Once again, I tell you the weird stories that the people in my head tell me. It's not a, this is a concept I really want to tackle. It's, oh, hey, this story's here. This seems cool. Let's write it and see what happens. sometimes I'm like, I would like to touch on mental health again. And somebody will jump up and down and wave their arms in my head and be like, me, I have issues. Okay, tell me your issues, Benedict. Are you excited for the new series coming out? Drigas asks. Yes, also terrified because once again, I've covered this before. Imposter syndrome's a real thing. It doesn't matter that I've published 50 some odd books and I've had only one abysmal failure, which is Resurrection Quest, which we shall not talk about. And I've had some mighty successes with, Alpha World and especially Aethers. Um, every book I publish, even Aethers 8, I still get that, oh gods, this is going to be when they're all going to walk away. This is where everyone's going to be like, yeah, this author's kind of shit. Let's stop doing this. So that terror only ramps up more when it's a brand new series. Because I go back to, what if this is another Resurrection Quest? What if this comes out the gate and just goes face plant, and then I have to be like, okay, I have another series. Hang on, I gotta write that. The thing is even if Heavenly Chaos face plants, I already have second book of it written. I would probably write a third book to at least give it a somehow of a bow on it to at least make it not feel terrible because I've already invested the time to write book two anyway. Um, so even if it doesn't make a whole lot of money, I could at least slow cook it to get what I've already put into it out there. So from the people who have read through Heavenly Chaos start to finish, though, it's been a lot of this is really good. A couple of people have been like, yeah, this is your next Aether series. It's going to be amazing. Um, so I have a lot of hopes, but I also have that gut churning terror. Not a good combination, guys. I would suggest not doing them both. I would suggest taking the terror out of the equation if you can possibly get away with it. Um, there is something about Heavenly Chaos I should address. I have written through two books. Right, the first book is going to be published soon. Through two books, there is no sex in the series. I'm going to throw that out there for the people who are hoping for that chapter of FAP. It's not there through the first two books. If this disappoints you, I'm sorry. Um, I very well might fade to black this entire series. I don't know. I will see. If I decide not to put that chapter in a published book, I still might write that chapter and then put it on Patreon. But if I want to reach a slightly wider audience, I also have to consider not having like that chapter in there if all it's going to do is show sex, which none of my chapters have done that really. But at the same time, can I work around the character moment without it being shown on screen, without the sex being shown on screen? Um, Sex would probably happen in book three, probably. So it's something I'm going to have to address when I get to writing that book. But at the moment, through books one and two, there's no sex, and there might not be any sex on screen in the entire series. I would like to reach a wider audience and not be known as just a man who has sex scenes in his books. We will see how it does. Of course, the last series I did that with was Dungeon Walkers, which has ticked up my fear meter again. Great, awesome, lovely. Keep trying to get to the spoilery question to attain the ogre glare. Jazz, if that's all you want. There you go. For you. I've been holding the questions for weeks. I also remembered that my live chat's here. How troublesome is it to do the X-ray feature on Kindle? Is it worth the trouble for the authors? So when the book finally goes live, if KDP isn't being a shitbag, I can click request X-ray. I almost always have trouble with getting just that click to go through in the first day of a launch. Like, what was the last? Aethers. I fought and fought just to get that button pushed and accepted the day it came out. It was aggravating. If I wait a day or two, normally I can get it to click through and it's not a problem. Then comes the hassle of actually going through and going like, okay, this person I need to put a blurb in. This person's big enough, I need to put a blurb in, and I have to handwrite those in myself. Or if I've made up a cheat sheet, I have to copy paste those in. However, every once in a while, the web page goes, nope, and I might lose everything I've done. I might lose half of what I've done. I might lose somewhere in between. I might not lose more than the last one. And I can't save it without it being quote unquote pushed up as a publish. And if that happens, I then have to wait another day to reopen it. So I basically get to struggle for 2 or 3 hours trying to get like 15 to 20 names that I think I should put a blurb on in before sending it up. Is it worth the trouble to the author? It depends on the author and how much grief I am getting trying to use X-Ray. Some days, no, it's not worth it at all. I would rather break my computer monitor. And then the days that like it goes through and it doesn't keep kicking me out, yeah, it's not that bad. It might take me half an hour to 45 minutes and I get everything that I want done and I hit save and it's not a problem. So I do attempt to put it in on every book that I publish. It's not the simple thing it should and could be because I have to do it every book. Like there's not they if they could have tied it to like the series so I could like just update like a one block of names for like the series and it would just autofill through the series, I would I would really like that. But that's not a thing. I love that you use Andrea for your audiobooks. She's amazing. She is absolutely amazing. You are 100% correct, Mr. M. I have been flattered and happy that she continues to work with me. Honestly, if she did not agree to do my books, I would probably be handing them off blindly like Podium and just be like, "Here you go, do the best you can." Because honestly, guys, I don't make like hardly anything in comparison to my ebooks off the audiobooks. They're there for my truckers or my guys who are working 14 hours a day, guys and girls, men and women who who don't have the time to sit down and read or have a disability like dyslexia and such that makes reading difficult, but can listening is good. So I am 100% every time she agrees to continue working with me. I am grateful to her. Does that mean you won't play a cleric? I'm assuming that's directed at me. I have played more clerics in D&D than almost anything else because I normally fill in whatever a party doesn't have, or at least I used to. Um, Other than that, I mostly prefer talking characters. Give me, no matter what system, if there's a way to just be a talking character, persuasion, deception, that kind of person, I will play that person. And if I never get into combat and have to actively kill something, I'm okay with that. You know why? Because I talk to people. I love playing talkers in tabletop role playing games. It makes me happy to just basically grab a character from my head and let them go. Um, I have played everything under the sun. I've played all the classes in D&D, and then the non D&D games that I've played through. I've played a good chunk of Spectrum across the board. Being an audio exclusive listener, I must say your books read by Andy have helped keep me moving and striving to make a kite flying day in my small town. Now I have to figure out how to keep from rambling on a radio interview. But thank you, and thank Andy for your unseen hands and help keeping me moving forward. Outlaw, congratulations, man. I hope that you don't ramble as much as I do, because radio interviews are normally way more concise than this. I've done one radio interview in my life, and yeah, it's structured, unlike this. So there is that at least. The Aether's coin is a huge pog. Uh, hey Apollo, glad you could make it. The next AL book comes out on my birthday. Well, Apollo, that is the current estimated release date. I almost always move them up, so it might not be there. It might be out earlier before your birthday. Just a reminder, I do try to over meet dates. So keep that in mind. How did the writing of HC1 go? HC1 and HC2 were written last year. Um, Basically, they took up gaming time and reading time from me, and I really enjoyed them. And basically, when I came to realize that yes, HC was going to slot in to the open slot, is what made me go, okay, I'm not going to start on Heavenly Chaos 3 because I don't have another spot that's going to be opening up right away. And for everyone wondering, Lux Voice is going to stretch 9 books. I have come down on Lux Voice 8 far enough to realize that the entire series isn't going to wrap up by the end of book 8. So Lux Voice is going to run 9. So for those people who have been wondering, because I wasn't sure originally if I was going to wrap the series in 8, it's going to wrap in 9. So for those people who are wondering, there you go. I can tell you that. Will you ever do a female MC? Probably not, Kenobi. The reason why is I am not a woman. I do not know how women think. Because I'm a guy, and no guy really knows how women think. If I did that, she would probably be like the chommiest tomboy that ever tommed her tomboy heart out. Because I've known a couple authors who have done that, and I would probably have to do that honestly. Um, I feel like I would do a disservice to to women if I tried to write a pure female character. As side characters, as main assisting heroines to a main character, to the vast harem of women in my series, I think I do okay, but I am not 100% focused on them. And I feel like that changes tonality of a series. So probably not. I'm not going to say 100% no, but probably not. They're your book's characters you can pick up or put down anytime. If only that were true. Only that were true. The voices in my head say differently. I will 100% say that the Terrans are seen in AL3, Greg. They do show up in AL3. In AL, how does Sage get caffeine in her Ursat's coffee recipe? Well, caffeine is a chemical, and if you're getting things made from chemical compounds and then basically put into some form or another, I'm gonna say it's not that hard. But that's where you get down to that whole like nanotech replicator hand wavium magic that is quote unquote technology. And I don't write crunchy sci-fi for a reason. So, hmm. Hey, Spider Fox, has there been any problems with how? Why? I mean, what? When exactly, Spider Fox? And that is only from 14-ish minutes ago, so, hey. Love Railroad Plans. Can't wait for the next book. Thank you, Anvil. I appreciate that. Big Chucker. I am amazed recently to learn that sporks have moved beyond school lunch and occasional fast food plastic to being made properly as silverware in real metals. That is 100% true, Chucker. You can actually get a spork made by K-Bar, the tactical spork. It comes with a little serrated knife that you can unscrew from the handle. So you have a spork and knife then for your meals as well. So in case you were wondering. I know the spoon theory for chronic pain sufferers and how they have to give spoons away in order to keep doing things. Same idea, steaming, but for social interaction. Ever think about doing a system book, or I mean, anyone on your head ever going through a system integration situation? There are a couple of like system quote unquote integration apocalypse um, threads. Again, I have not gotten to them. Um, and once again, at the moment, I don't have a spot open, so there's that. Sorry, hit enter early. Has there been any negative feedback on where AR8 ended? Oh yeah, I've had lots of people tell me it should have continued for another 3 4 chapters. Spider. I don't think they understand another 3 4 chapters wouldn't get them what they want. They'll understand when book 9 comes out. For what they wanted to, it wasn't a simple 2 chapters later they're gonna get the thing that they hoped for. Mm, no, I can already tell you because I already know how like the next week lines up for Greg. I already know all the things that he's gonna have to do in between, and all the other things that Ragnar was gonna have to take care of and meet and take care of before he could go do what he wanted to do too. It wasn't as simple as people hoped for. So I don't think your alpha, beta, and Patreon readers would let you release a dud. Well, I'd like to think not, but there's a difference between uncertainty or, this is okay. I enjoyed it, and oh my god, this is amazing. I want more right fucking now. So I mean, I know that some of the books I consider that don't do well, other authors would sell their eye teeth to have. I also know how much I put out a month in paying salaries to people. So there's a balancing act for me. It is a whole new arc. AR8 starts the Krogian arc. How many books is that going to take? We'll find out together. How big a book is Heavenly Chaos going to be? If I remember right, HC1 runs about average. I think it's a little over 100,000. So I mean, it's not an average Aethers. That's like 130. But most of my books sit around like 100 to 105K, give or take. Um, so it's right in that wheelhouse. Honestly, the shortest book one I ever published was Binding Words one. That was I think 80,000 words. So might have actually been the shortest book I ever published too. Period. I mean, outside of the collection of short stories, not counting Dead Man's End, NPC Live series that I've never gotten back to. I have to laugh because I have seen reviews both complain about too much sexy time in AR and also people who complain about too little. I figure it must be about right. Clee, it's not. Most of those aren't complaints about the sexy time. They're complaints about the romance. They're complaints that there's too much time spent on the love between Gregory and his wives. Not the physical acts, but just the "I love you, dear" moments. or spending time with them while they do alchemy or going shopping, unless I punch you in the face because I'm the god of magic. That's the biggest divide I've seen. Um, from a romance standpoint, most of the negative complaints about Aethers come down to, well, this would be better if he didn't waste so much time on romance. Okay, I'm not going to change the story Gregory tells me, guys. I'm sorry. If you don't like the story, don't read the book. That's what it comes down to. There's lots of other books that are all about action where the main character is a celibate monk for some reason because he never seems to have any interest in females. No matter what, no matter how many of them flirt with them or flatly ask the main character to, give them a baby or just, bend them over and treat them like trash or anything. There are many series where the main character just goes, nah, no time for sex. Gotta do this. And it's like, but you just spent a month in seclusion doing nothing, and it's been, you know what? Never mind. Which is fine if they push that idea of the main character being asexual, just not interested in sex. That would clear that whole issue up. But instead, the main character will look at these women and go, she is very attractive. I find her very attractive. I am kind of interested. Nope, nope, no time, no time. Got to go seclude. That's my only problem. Is when that happens. Even just a note, like thinking back on the date he had with Alexandra last night. The laughter, the care. If you can't for whatever reason write the soft romance, not even like I said, not even sex, guys. You can't even write the taking the woman that you're interested in out on a date or anything because for whatever reason that detracts too much from the story. At least reference back. Have one of his friends throw in a, "Hey, how'd your date go with Alexandra last night?" It was good. I think we have a little connection. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. Just throw those tidbits in there so we know that the main character isn't a eunuch. Just I can't write those characters. I can't. And my Italian is very much coming out. The more passionate I feel about something, the more Italian I become. The head moves, the hands wave. Do you find it hard to make a slow burn book? No, Rain. I don't think I have that problem. Heavenly Chaos 1 and 2 is going to be a very slow burn. Very, very smooth to write. I loved every moment of those books. It comes to time and place. I don't mind a slow burn book. You can slow burn a romance through 6 books, and I'll be fine if you do it right. Does Heavenly Chaos' Skippy survive the first book so we can enjoy his downfall longer? Burn, you're going to have to read the first book, and that's all I can say on that. The anxiety is entirely financial. I mean, the product is unquestionable quality. Because writing is my job, it is 100% financial. If this was not my job, I was not dependent on the reception of the book to pay my bills, keep my girlfriends fed, clothed, housed, and whatnot. The anxiety would be a lot lower. Most of the anxiety people have is financial, knowing that you're going to meet your bills, that you have food on the table, that you can take care of the things you need to in life. If you take those components away from somebody, hey, everything you need is paid for. Within reason. Your house, your money, all that, your food, your car, all that's paid for. You only need to worry about if you want a little fun money. If you take that away from people, a lot of people stop having anxiety. This doesn't include mental trauma that inspires other anxiety. But if you take away financial stress from people, a lot of people's anxiety goes way down. So you're saying you're going to blue ball in this series? No, blue balling you would be building up to the FAP, like a chapter of just like hard foreplay, where it's like, oh, he's gonna go into detail here next chapter, and then it not happening. I don't foresee that, but I do thank you for the joke. Sex is just an added spice to an already awesome book, but I don't foresee blue balling anyone. Cruise ship Choji, hey, I'm actually free for one of these. Welcome in, Choji. It's nice to see you outside of Discord, sir. The ending of AR8 had me so excited that my migraine hurt more. McKnight, I'm really sorry, man. I don't want to cause you pain, but the fact that you got excited, that you were emotionally invested in the book, that means I did my job. Hey, Raph, welcome in, man. What about the orgy dungeon run? Uh, Darkwind, you beta read the book. You're not supposed to get details out. I'm gonna have to get my moderator to unmoderate you, so we can then kick you if you do this again. And she will. She is ruthless. She is Jen Bean. CB, I loved Dungeon Walkers. It just it wasn't gonna have the longevity that I needed it to have. So hopefully I gave it an okay soft landing for everyone who enjoyed it. As a reader, I don't mind Fade to Black if the chapter's on Patreon. If your goal is to reach a wider audience, I don't mind if it's one or two series. I'm gonna do it for this one. I don't know if I'll do it again. Like I said, it's yeah. As an author, I have to try new things occasionally just to see how they are received. Um, this is gonna be my how wide of a net can I cast? It is going into college type atmosphere for age group and whatnot. So it's got that late teens and up should be able to get into the series. And since there's not going to be any adult time into it, hopefully it means I can bring more people into it. But once again, we're going to have to wait and see. All your books I like as when I read they're real characters and people and how they act. Some books I read you feel creation rather than fleshed out characters. When I read your books, all the characters are people and how they react and discover character stories, which bring me back. Not the sex scene. Sorry, rambling. Introvert suddenly feeling a little extroverted. Breg, that's what whiskey's for, buddy. It's okay. That just means that the self medication is working. Well, General Kenobi, I will say that Heavenly Chaos has pockets, which are, like pocket dungeons. We'll see how people enjoy it. How far back am I? 20 minutes. That's not terrible. 20 minutes back from you all. I'm cracking on. I'm not gonna make the whole chat. Widowmaker, totally understandable. If it is 3 a.m. wherever you are, get some sleep. It's perfectly acceptable. That means you got to be somewhere over in Europe because, damn. Instead of X-ray, you can always have a glossary at the end. Darth, yes and no. See, KDP and Amazon don't give us a full breakdown about what we can have in the back of a book and what we can't have in the back of a book. If they said you can have a glossary of people, you can have this, you can have an index of keywords, you can totally have a previously on without a problem at the front of it, if they would just lay out what is acceptable, flatly lay out what is acceptable. So they can't come back later and be like, you stuffed your book, we're going to take your page reads, we're going to throw you up on a warning that we might take your account and ability to publish on Amazon away, because that's what I risk with Kindle when I use KU. If they think for whatever reason I am trying to quote unquote game their system on page reads, they can take away page reads, they can um, censor my account, they can ban my account. And if I do that, then I can't publish on Amazon anymore. I would have to do what Michael Scott Earl did and be, well, let's be honest, a lot less successful than Michael Scott Earl is doing with that. So I try to make sure that I don't give them a reason or excuse to come after me. Now I've started putting in the previously because it's a page and a half up at the front of the book, just a quick recap to bring you in. And even that I'm very leery on. I do not want to give them any reason to come after me, which is why you don't have a character index or a glossary or anything in the back of a book. And honestly, most people wouldn't use it. If I put it at the back of the book, most people wouldn't jump back there to refresh themselves before reading. And it wouldn't work well for the audio readers, but either so. Anyway, yeah, yeah. Extra is definitely worth it to the readers unless they use the default. I never use the default, Rob. It is always a handwritten or hand typed notes from me. You at least make the cost of the audiobooks then. Guardian, I do royalty split with Andy, which means 50% of what comes out goes to me, half of it goes to her. However, it's not costing me anything to get them made with Andy, because basically Andy is supplying all the labor and the audio engineer, all that stuff that normally comes out of per finished hour. She's basically fronting all of that to record the book. So she is actually costing herself money until the book is made and making money back when I do royalty split. If I was doing per finished hour, then it's the same deal, but she's getting flat upfront paid basically. She's like, it's finished, it's 12.3 hours, this is how much you owe me. I would then pay her for that, and she wouldn't get any royalty split. There is a third option which isn't used, which is royalty split plus, which is the split at the end, like I said, but also, hey, I'm going to pay you $100 per finished hour on top of that to help cover upfront costs to you. Now, when I go with Podium, they're paying Andy per finished hour to record the book. Or, depending on the contract, it might be a royalty split through them that goes to me and Andy. Depends on the contract you're getting into, whether or not Podium allows it, Tantor allows it, so on and so forth. But the cost of the audio engineers and stuff to clean things up and make sure the files are good, and the marketing and all that comes from the publisher. That would come from Podium. So it doesn't. Since I'm doing royalty split, it doesn't cost me anything to make them. But in a percentage of what I make off of a book, ebook to audio, it's like 90-ish, 95% ebook, and then 5 to 10% audio for money made on any given book for me. So I said it's there, it's nice, but it's not. I'm not getting into it to make the money because honestly, in the scheme of things, it's not what is going to make or break me. It's specifically there for the truckers and stuff who can only do audio, and I'm 100% with that. Before, when I was doing per finished hour, because I'd have to pay her when she finished for her work. I would then have to wait for enough sales to come through to basically make up what I had already paid out before it started making money. So if that explains things. And then if you're wondering what most audiobooks cost to make, it depends on your narrator and what they cost per finished hour. I would say cost per finished hour at this point is about 350 to 500 for most narrators. So if a book is 12 hours long and you look at like we'll say the 500, that's a six. It's going to cost you $6,000 to get that book made, and then you're going to have to make that back off of the royalties of the audio, if that makes sense. It's not cheap and easy. If you can get a narrator to royalty split with you, so you don't have to pay up front, all well and good. But that's then the narrator taking the risk that they're going to recoup what they should have made per finished hour plus more. And there are authors who will tell you that royalty split is a mug's game, that it's yours. You should get 100% of all royalties outside of paying for the per finished hour. So I've seen debates between authors over whether or not you should ever royalty split, and there are people who will die on that hill. It's not McKnight. The idea of links in a book and issues for moving back to like a glossary and whatnot. It's not as easy to set up as you might think, and that is one of those things that might trigger KDP to be like, well, you wanted people to click on this, and that took them to the back of your book, thereby showing us that they had read 95% when really they were only 2% in and clicked on that name. Therefore, we flagged you for suspicious activity. I wish I was kidding. I'm not. I greatly appreciate the audiobooks. They get me through my career. No problem, Big. Like I said, I do audiobooks for people like you. I have a friend who cannot read, like full blown hard, like dyslexia, cannot, the words just don't hit his brain right. Audio, perfectly fine. So I am fine 100. I am always fine pushing into audio. Even guys, even if it cost me a little bit of money to do the audio, I would do it just for this. For my friend, for the truckers, I would still do it. I'm not saying that you guys ever have to worry about audio. Okay? Just so you're aware. Just so you're aware. RE reason for audiobook phrasing people rather than specific gender. I am a little lost, Al. I'm gonna say that up front. Um, I I don't know. I obviously missed something somewhere. So if it was because I was doing guys and girls and then and women and whatnot because I fumble, that's just because me. So you're aware my default pronoun is always male. When I was growing up, I always defaulted to my own gender as default pronoun. It's always he. If I was talking about somebody I didn't know or just a vague construct of an individual, it was always he. Um, Now at 44 years old, I do my best, but I know I'm not perfect at trying to understand where society is driving things. So I try for gender neutral in some cases, but if I start with, well, for you guys, it's just it's always what I've said. So at this point, I try to at least throw in and girls, but then I'm like, well, see, this is also one of the reasons why I get terrified talking to people because now I feel like I'm trying to over explain something that probably shouldn't be explained. Life. You fucking bitch. Life, life is a bitch, guys. Just so you're aware, nobody gets out of it alive, and it's a zero-sum game at the end. Just so you're aware. Tree, it's the difference between a D&D setting, though, and like this or a convention, is when I'm sitting at the table. Normally, I'm sitting at the table with family and friends. These are people I'm 100% comfortable around. For me, that's not awkward. These are people I have chosen. These are people that know me. So when I say something that you should never say to people, they just look at me and go, "Meh, it's him. It's just the ogre." So playing a talker in those settings to me is fun because I don't have to try to be aware of what I'm saying. I can just let the filter off my mouth. Since you play any character, could you make a character that does that? Like, show pretender who picks up any profession after just reading about it? I mean, at that point, you're a con man, CB. I mean, honestly, that's what that is. Unless you're just the actual old jack of all trades. So, have you ever used one of the book character as a D&D campaign? Um, General Kenobi, Resurrection Quest, the main characters in that series are based off of tabletop friends. 100% tabletop friends. Mom's here, guys. Everyone be on your worst behavior. Mom's here. I got the Rail Laid Plans audio. Got it queued. Got it into the queue. Well, Big, I hope you enjoy it when you get there, buddy. What kind of challenges come with juggling writing multiple stories at once? Choji. Ain't easy. It's one of the reasons I try not to do it. The only times I do it is when the story will not shut up. Heavenly Chaos and Crafting Demons, which will be a while before we see, um, both of them were the write me, write me, write me, write me right fucking now. I don't care what else you're writing. I don't care if you have to write Aethers. I don't care if this is Binding Words time. After you finish the chapter of that, guess what you're going to do? Guess what you're going to do, asshole? You're going to write me. You're going to do it. So it's not easy, though. It's not easy. Uh, the challenge is making sure the characters are the characters. 100% staying in the lane of this is Benedict. What is he doing? I don't care what's going on in Binding Words right now. I don't care what's going on in Aethers right now. I don't care what's going on in the series that I'm supposed to be focused on right now. I did my chapter of that. I've done my due diligence for the day. Okay, Benedict, what's going on with you? I will write a chapter. Just please calm down a little bit. Give me the chapter. We'll get through it, buddy. I'll give you your time. You'll have your time. Just calm down. It's a matter of making sure that I'm staying in the lane for whatever story I'm writing. But like I said, those are the you have to write me right now while I'm already this is Aethers is what I'm supposed to be writing right now. Okay, I wrote a chapter, maybe two of Aethers, but Benedict still won't shut up, so I got to go write a chapter of Heavenly Chaos today as well. Every time you start and release a Lux voice, I end up playing Red Dead for months. I'm sorry, Lost. I don't know if I should apologize for that. I'd be like, hey, good for you. I am still waiting for a female Skippy. It probably won't happen, Outlaw. Most of my Skippies tend to be male for a reason. Because if you kill a guy, most people just go, "Hey, he was an asshole. He deserves it." Even if a woman is just as much of an asshole as your male Skippy, some people are still going to react very badly to Alvin blowing that head off. So, you know, time and place. Any plans to do panels at Author Nation? Yeah, I am unlikely to be on panels there. If they come to me and say, "Hey, we'd like to have you on this panel," I'd probably sit in on one. Um, but honestly, a lot of those panels are aimed at publishers trying to explain to new writers what they should, how to better present to them, their um, audio narrators trying to explain how the things work to authors, their authors giving advice on how to write. I cannot give another author an advice on how to write. If I tell you listen to the voices in your head and just write down what they tell you to, most people would not be able to write a story that way. So I am a terrible person to be giving advice to another author. I am going to go. I'm going to attend some of the panels. I'm going to listen in so I can understand like maybe marketing stuff a little bit more. And then I'm going to be there for the fan day. Mostly I'm going for the fan day. I would love to see you have two main characters, but I know you won't do it. I'm assuming that's supposed to be won't do it. And you're right, because my stories are from the characters in my head. It would have to be two of them going, hey, dude, listen. Me and Frank over here, we got this idea, and you're going to do it. And it hasn't happened yet. I'm not saying I won't ever do it, but it's unlikely. Who's your favorite side character right so far for Antecedents? You say Antecedents 3 specifically, but let's widen things. Just Antecedents, because I don't want to give out spoilers. Um, and that's a broad range. I mean, Krish is an adorable person, um, earnest, forthright, really wants a friend. I mean, great character. I know a lot of I know some readers really hate KO because they just look at her as a cock tease. And hey, she's just a kitsune being a kitsune. Lavella was a lot of fun to write. Every single scene with the Lavella, because of how she interacts with people depending on who they are. That's just a lot of fun. The captain is very much fun and over the top in her own ways. Sage is that adorable cuddle um, individual, we'll say, that you might have noticed a quasi theme throughout my series for. Um, I don't know if I can ever pin down I'm really bad at favorite questions. Um, I've enjoyed all of the main supporting characters I've put in. If I didn't like them, I'd probably kill them sooner rather than later. So they all have their moments. Yeah, I've written books I'm not going to publish when it was so difficult to write female point of view, asking my female friends and family, well, a lot of them kind of laughing as I ask why repeatedly for how they thought, or repeatedly. I understand, McKnight. I understand. I have 6 K-Bar tactical sporks in all my travel packs. I mean, yeah, sometimes you need a spork, sometimes you need a knife. Uh, to Spider, to I'm gonna segue to something completely different for a minute, guys. Um, Facebook had a post just today that was asking who would win in a fight. Paul from Dune, the main character from Dune, or Gregory. And honestly, if you put him on neutral ground, so there's no giant sandworms that Paul can call, if you just put him on neutral ground and say fight, the biggest thing that's going to come down to is which series foresight are we using? Paul's foresight was happens when he dreams. He would have perfect recall of that dream, so he would be able to interact with everything throughout the day perfectly because everything was set. His vision never deviated. So there is no free will. Because if there's free will for everyone, you can't have a perfect future. Because if somebody decides to go left instead of right, you guys get the idea. So like Gregory's system is he can pretty much know what's going on, but surprises can still throw off the future because free will. So depending on which one of those systems you're going to place that fight in is going to depend on who's the winner. Because if it's the future is predetermined, Paul's probably going to win, honestly, especially with Gregory not in full use of his powers at the moment. Because his future is predetermined, he knows exactly what's going to happen at any given time. If you're using Gregory's system, Paul's vision of the future doesn't fucking matter, in which case, free flowing foresight in combat is going to eventually rip Paul apart. Even though Paul's a great swordsman and blah 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 blah. The foresight, as we've seen, outside of him fighting another god, is going to get you to the answer of how to win a combat. So it was something I looked at though. That for Paul's foresight dreams to happen, there can be no free will. One of the reasons why Aether's foresight is not perfect is because I like the idea that the future is not set, that what people do matters. If you were dead certain you're going to go do X today, but for whatever reason something happens and you just don't, it should change things. My 2 cents. I just wanted to lay that out because I had started that argument in Facebook I had started to post all of that in Facebook earlier, and I was just like, you know what? It comes down to me. It comes down to free will. So, I segued. I love your name of Ragnar in Aether's 8. Thank you, McKnight. For clarity, I want more right fucking now of Heavenly Chaos and Aethers. Well, Darkwind, suck it up, Buttercup. Are you going to get new art for the rest of Binding Words? Guardian, the person who was doing the recovers of Binding Words is the guy who is currently doing the covers for Antecedents and Heavenly Chaos. So eventually, yes, but not right now. He has other things on his plate that I need first. How are my girlfriends doing, Rob? They're doing okay. Life is life. Doctor's appointments and everything going on. We are getting through. Aether's ended in such a good spot. I feel the book would have been much longer if you had tried to address anything more. 100% correct, Struggles. It's one of the reasons it ended where it did. Honestly, I had been very tempted to end it right at chapter 42, right after the big darkness reveal. That's I was really tempted just because. I mean, big reveal, closed book. Much too short. That was it would have been much too short to leave it there, which is why it got pushed to where it did. I think Aethers for me it was the shock that I was reading the book and suddenly it ended. Didn't realize how long I'd been reading. Fair enough, Breg. Ia says they need more love in their lives. The ones complaining about Gregorina's. Probably very much, L. Honestly, probably 100% correct. There are people who just don't want romance in books, is what it comes down to, and that's fine. There are a plethora of series where the main character, like I said, is a celibate monk. They never have any romance at all. Go read those. It's okay. I don't mind. I really wish you enjoyed my stuff, but if you don't, that's fine. The MC who is oblivious to flirting you're talking about in various points in Harry Dresden's life. I mean, yes and no, Choji, because Dresden, did hook up and have a kid and so on and so forth. He wasn't a celibate monk. The character interactions is one of the main reasons I read all your books. Makes them relatable, and that's why I write them, Widowmaker. That's why those things are there, because that's what the characters tell me to do. Because people talk to each other. Kitties do not fight, please. Thank you. I like the slice of life aspect of your romance. Not too many authors really explore that, and that's one of the reasons I stick around as a reader. And Guardian, you're going to continue to have that. The slow burn of Heavenly Chaos, the first two books, um, I think really helps that, because there's still action in them. There's still fighting and striving and meeting goals and whatnot. So, God, I really hope you guys enjoy Heavenly Chaos. I really do. I don't care for the AR series, but you have other series that I do like, so it's a win for both of us. Fair enough, L. Like I said, nobody has to like every series I write. That's 100% acceptable across the board. Um, you might not like the setting, you might not like the main character, you might not like the how big a harem is going on. That's acceptable. I will never fault anyone for that being the reason. Cultivation of the backed up sex drive for more power. I mean, yeah, if they want to come out flatly say that, that's fine, but you know that they never do. They never do. I did enjoy that you brought Abel Skinner into Aether's 8. My grandmother gave all of her grandchildren an Abel Skinner pan and knitting needle to turn them over when making them. They are a family favorite for the holiday struggles. I'm glad that addition was well received. There was a bit of how much of this do I want to like lay out. I mean, obviously it's a Northern European-esque, uh, European-esque. Wow, words are hard, guys, and if you slur slightly, you can end up with words you don't mean. Northern European, yeah, because I want to say Nordic, but some of the countries that I pulled things from would get very upset if I just left it at Nordic. Um, Theme. So as you know, I want to make sure that those notes are there without going too far, and I think I've done okay. I think I did okay with Aether's 8 in that regard. Darkwind, that was in Alpha World. We're past that now. You've served your purpose, sir. Do we really need you anymore? At this point, you could just be experience points. I mean, after you open the door, just just saying. See, and Rob, that's 100% fine. That is basically what I got out from the people who didn't like Dungeon Walkers. That sums up the negative reviews I got for Dungeon Walkers pretty well. Self medication for the win. I'll go get the rum soon and be all mopey. At least you understand how your alcohols affect you, Breg. If you could travel outside of the US of A, where would you go and what would you do? Well, Guardian, I finally did go around and get myself a passport. And eventually I do want to go visit certain countries. I am a descendant of French, Irish, German, and Italian. So I would like to hit the countries of my ancestors. And then I would probably see a couple other places. Um, if people are allowed to travel by the time I finally get around to it. I obviously will not visit any countries that are currently embroiled in war with their neighbors. Just not safe. And I would probably stay away from places that American citizens are told probably not safe for you to go to right now. Don't go there. But overall, yeah, there are some places around Europe and the Far East that I would like to go to. Will you ever do a convention here in the UK? General, as I alluded to, I've just recently got my passport. It is something that I am not opposed to, but I have other things I have to take care of before I do the, hey, I'm going to jump to a convention over in England. So first, I got to get some other T's crossed and I's dotted here at home. Kind of curious, how bad is KU for you as an author? Well, Guardian, KU makes up about 70% of my revenue. Let that sink in for a minute, folks. The majority of my revenue comes from Kindle Unlimited. I love every single one of you who buys a book. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me know that if for whatever reason I had to drop KU, you're there for me. For those of you currently who read through KU and then the next calendar month then buy the book, letting me double dip as it were, thank you as well. Amazon has never told us specifically if you read the book in March and then you read the book again in April, does it count? As far as we know, it does not. But we don't have a 100% answer from Amazon. So, but about 70% of my revenue comes from Kindle Unlimited. The 6 months I was out of KU back in, I want to say it was 2018. Oh, those were some lean months back then. That was back before I went full time. So that was one of the big scares where authors were being hit over the head with ban hammers left and right, left and right. Um, I left KU for 6 months because I was afraid. But the dip in revenue was brutal as an author. So there is that to be aware of. Uh, Join the shady side. Bring your stories to the guild. We shall love thine stories anyway. Just wanted to say hi, frequent lurker, rare commenter. Really enjoying chat tonight, though. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for all the lightheartedness. Lighthearted, just to chill books. They're often an escape when things get too hard. Eve, understandable. That's what I want. Even those moments where my stories take a hard turn, I am looking at you, Alpha World, and backstories for main characters, especially Fluff. I'm looking at the full story behind Albrecht's issues. Sean losing wives during war. Even during those moments where they're difficult to get through, I hope that the positive notes still, help balance those out. Even though you know after you've read it once that when you go back and you reread it, you're about to have your heart torn out again. Overall, they're lighthearted enough. They're just people going through life. So you don't have as much, oh God, what now? So please DJ London Film Comic Con. Um, maybe one day, Breg. Maybe one day. Audiobook royalties let you get a loaded potato and not just butter. A little more than that, yeah. But like I said, 5 to 10% of my total income, probably. So it's hit or miss because you have to also remember, audiobooks. There's no KU for audiobooks, and thank God for that. Because that would just be a disaster waiting to happen. Um, you, I mean, I put out 7 books a year, which that's 7 credits to most people. That's over half of most people's annual credit allotment, just for me. So I understand where you have to be dedicated to audio to like keep up on all the audiobooks. No problem, Outlaw. I hope you feel better. Make sure to check back tomorrow, see if you're one of the winners. Widowmaker. I've read Sanderson's update, um, and I hope it's true. Until I see it, though, I don't believe it. I'm a cynical person by nature. Until I have hard proof in front of me, mm, until then, I see it as a company placating somebody who makes them a lot of money. Yeah. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Don't worry, it's gonna be great. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Don't worry, it's gonna be great. Don't worry. Yeah, no, it's totally coming. Until it happens, I don't believe. The side remarks in Terry Pratchett's books give me fits in ebook. I mean, fair enough, Buck. I didn't realize audio was so bad to sort and work out the best way. Yeah, Breg, it's its own beast. So audio is the best. Have read more since audio came out. I mean, Rain, are you going back to the old cassette audios where you had that big book of cassettes or the big book of CDs? Because I mean, audio goes back a long time. It's not just digital audio like we have now. I think you can still get some of those on like truck stops. I wouldn't know. I'm not a trucker. We do have truckers though. One of them might be able to answer that. I read a lot of authors, but none of them do a stream like this. It's really cool and we really appreciate that. Again, I'm 100% here, 100% here because of you guys. This is like the one way I could think of that fans like you who just wanted to chat, wanted a little more time with an author than you, like you said, you really get with other authors, would enjoy. So once a month, I stretch my comfort zone to give back because that's what this is, guys. This is me giving back to you guys. You guys have enabled me to make this my job, so I can only have to work for one asshole, me, instead of other assholes, the people I used to work with. So I 100% agree. If that means doing these once a month, I will 100% do them once a month. I will do a couple of conventions. I will see about eventually doing other conventions like in the UK and stuff because I have fans over there. You guys want to meet me too. You want to see me in person, and one of these days I'll try to make it over there. It's all about giving back and saying thanks. Meh, words, they're hard. Glad to see that Railade plans properly linked in Deluxe Voice series on Audible. Took me a few minutes to find it when I saw your release notification. On most of those, when I have the release notification, I normally have the link to them as well, big. So you should be able to just click and go and to get it. The link how it connects, that's all ACX and Audible. It's like the ebook linking. That's all KDP and Amazon. I have no control over that. Hell, I just had a fan recently message me on Twitter. I say recently, it was last week. He messaged me and said, "Hey, I've heard great things about Aethers. I went to pick it up here in Germany, and it's not on ebook. There's only the physical copy." And I went and looked at Amazon.de, and sure enough, my ebook wasn't there for Aethers 1. Okay. It took KDP, the interface company, Kindle Direct Publishing, that is part of Amazon, took them a week to get the ebook back up on in DE. So I messaged the guy back on Twitter earlier today and went, "Here's the link. I am sorry for the problem. I've done all I could." Because sometimes it's like for the people who ask me how come your audiobook and your ebook, they're not linked, so you guys can get audio for 749. That is 100% ACX and Audible talking to each other. or sorry, ACX, Audible, and Amazon talking to each other, so they show up linked like they're supposed to. If you guys tell me that, I can nudge ACX and be like, hey guys, get this linked again. But then it's all 100% up to them. I actually have no control over it myself. Where was I? I was trying to offer a word to eliminate the confusion and caused it instead because that is the problem with my live chats, Al, is I am currently running 30 minutes back. So yeah, confusion happens. It's not you. It's me. It's 100% me. It's fine. It's the fact that I try to get to as much as I can for you guys. That I'm not like just staying right at the bottom of chat and only commenting on the things that roll up right then. I want to try to interact as much as possible. I want to cover as many things as you guys do. And we've seen that it's about 2 hours of this before I catch up, and then we call it good. We have stretched to, I think it was just short of 3 once, and hey, these things happen. But normally, about 2 hours is where we go. We'll see where we end tonight. My moderators will probably hope that it ends before 3 hours, but hey, they're good folks. They'll stay in there for us. Maybe. Uh, scroll, scroll, scroll. General Kenobi, the Wandering Inn is done through Podium. I don't know what Podium officer per finished hour. I'm going to say that out front. I was giving you blank ideas of what per finished hour are. I don't know what Andy's per finished hour is anymore. I don't ask. I know that when I started with her, I told her she was charging much too little for the amount of talent she had. One of the reasons I went to royalty split with Andy because she wasn't paying herself enough. Something that I will never regret. As some authors have told me I'm an idiot for doing so because that money should be mine. I think Andy's worth more. Andy has told me that if I ever use royalty plus with her, she will be upset with me, so I can't even do that to like, you know, slide in on her and be like, "Hey, no problem, CB. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you stop back later, see if you're one of the winners." I'm past my maximum for migraine. Need to get off. McKnight, I understand. Thank you for hanging in as much as you can. Please come back later and see if you're one of the winners. Uh, oh, is the next Art's Oath book from Centaur coming out? That's amazing. Yes, the main character in Heavenly Chaos is named Benedict, Rob. Leo, you're a first time chatter. If you've been on a live chat before, this is the first time you've talked. Welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. We have a Leo, a mighty lion. Being a Leo star sign myself, I understand. Uh, we going to get more crafting demons, more getting things to work. Well, I mean, Benedict takes up cooking in Heavenly Chaos. That's a type of craft, right? Right? Wrestling's about to start, but I will be lurking. Fair enough, Choji. Fair enough. I know you mentioned once that you had a pretty good idea where any given series is going. How often does a story take a left turn and just go off in its own direction? The only time it has gone absolutely hard left on me, Mist, was the first book of Apocalypse Gates, where my lovable asshole became a fucking paladin. I rewrote the entire first book, and that made sure that Alvin stayed the lovable asshole he was for all of Apocalypse Gates. That is the only time one of my main characters has thrown off a series so badly. Um, that is the only time. Every other series has come to a conclusion that I have predetermined. The bumps in the road that get there, like Sean life bonding all of the fucking staff, haven't stopped the series from ending where it should. So, are you going to sell books at the fan event at Arthur Nation? Sell? Absolutely not, Hardcore Holly. 100% no. God, I do not want to be responsible for that. More than likely, I will be there to talk to people, maybe give things away. Sell? No. God, I am terrible at selling things. I do not want to try to talk random people into giving me money for something. If you think I'm awkward on here, you've never seen me try to sell something to somebody. What is the cost of membership for JordanCon? I do not know off the top of my head, Gamer Dame. I don't. Um, I sorry. I'm not opening up browsers right now either. I know that it should be up there somewhere. I would think, unless they have a limit and they've reached the limit already. I don't know. It's 2 a.m. here now. Going to sleep. No problem, Jazz. Thank you for popping in for as long as you could be here. The joys of being an author. You get to kill the people you don't like. I mean, yeah. But remember, on Discord, if you threaten imaginary harm to an imaginary friend, you get a 3-day ban. I still remember that from a couple years ago, and I will not forget. It was right when I was going to have to push a book that was coming out, and I got hit with a 3-day ban, and it was like, well, that's great. I can't tell anyone. It was annoying as shit. In Lex Voice, are we likely to meet other gods and goddesses like Trade that are coming back? I mean, it's possible, Rob. It hasn't happened through book 7 yet. I can say that. Could it happen? Yeah, it could. The Facebook debate on the Great Fantasy Meal was my favorite recent one. Fair enough, General Kenobi. I mean, a lot of people had different things. I went with one near and dear to my heart, which was the dragon steak in Alpha World, because it was one of the okay, this is totally a fantasy meal because dragon meat. Why not? That whole meal with Ionis Jones, I thought was fairly decent. Thank you, Lost. I appreciate that. Like I said, most people will who want to can go read the first chapter for free. They have to be a paying patron to see more of them. I think it's through 12 for the lowest paid tier that gets chapters. I am once again going through my head about how to if I want to restructure Patreon, because honestly, I don't think the $1 tier gives anything to people, and I feel bad taking that dollar from people if I'm not giving them more for it. Like I said, I suck at selling things to people. I'm glad I failed to hit the close button. Heard the thing about darkness reveal, which is a forgotten question that I'll try to hang out for an answer. When did you make the decision for the darkness reveal? Book 1. McKnight, book 1. I knew who she was then. when she was talking to Gregory in book one. She even references something she said back then that she realized she probably shouldn't have said then. For those people who go back and reread the series and are looking for the clues, they're there. Reading the books, I enjoyed the second film. Okay. Do you feel Xander switch the teams up with bring in a second finger? Do I think Xander will switch the teams up by bringing in a second finger? I mean, he mentions it in book two. Basically, Rastasar going off the, if he's going to do this kind of thing, Rastasar would probably be a good fit for leading a second finger. So, pretty sure that was book two. If I'm wrong and that conversation doesn't happen until book three, spoiler. Shit. The problem sometimes, guys, with writing so many books is exactly what I've published and what I've written, but you haven't seen yet, sometimes blurs a little. A giant Gimli, a giant bald Gimli. I mean, yeah, it does the double dip for you. I really appreciate that, Ellen, Mr. M. I honestly, I do. Heavenly Chaos one is on my oldest's birthday. Well, Paul, that is the current release date. It might move up sooner again. We'll have to wait and see. It might come out before that, so you won't feel bad about reading the book while you're supposed to be enjoying your oldest's birthday. I don't know how old your oldest is, and whether or not you have to be there for a birthday either. So that's something that yeah. Woohoo! I'm only 20 minutes back. Hell yeah, buddy! I have to say I sneak into buying rather than KU when I have a long reading list, as I love curling up and reading something like AG or Binding Words. Fair enough, Greg. I am 100% perfectly fine if you buy the book right away, or if you KU the book and only KU the book, or if you KU the book and then buy the book, or if you only KU the book and then re-KU the book and then re-KU the book. Totally fine. Whatever works for you guys. I will never fault you guys for doing what is in your best interests. I cried when Zelda died, and the was the bee at the beginning of the book, but the connection between her and Xander was so close. That the little bit of banter I tried to give that feeling of connection before that that her death, but I didn't want to push so much back just to build that harder for that moment. I had people complain, like I had a few negative reviews and comments from people who messaged me directly that he just lost somebody he supposedly loved. How come he's worried? How come he's thinking about trying to bang Sage already? If you're going through emotional distress and you're not good with emotions, you have a tendency to fall back into old habits because they feel comforting. For him, that was finding somebody willing and having sex, even when he was with Zelda. It's for him that was this is my safe place moment. He never let go of that love, and he even as you see through books one and two, he's that I didn't know what I had then, and now I've lost it, and I don't ever want to lose it if I get it again. And when he starts to get those harder, those more permanent relationships, he's still very much I want this to work, which is why he waffles. Do I go after Lavella? She's showing interest, but will Sage will Sage be upset if I do that? He questions it, something he never would have done before, because he is growing as a person. Maybe it's just because he's more he's so much larger in my head. I don't know. Anyway, ramble, ramble, ramble. Have you read the full 6 original Doom books? No, Leo, I have not. One of my girlfriends has, and she says they get really weird in the later books. And I will 100% agree with her. I watched the first set of movies for Dune, the one that had Sting in them and Patrick Stewart, um, and I remember enjoying those. They are weird though. There are moments where you guys have to admit that's some weird shit that gets put through there. The fact that it gets even weirder. Mm, I actually put these chats on my calendar. The family knows not to interfere. Rob, if your family understands and you get away with it, more power to you, buddy. Communication is an important thing. Uh, Arctic, I just realized I looked down. I'm gonna go back up here in a second, but I looked down and I saw Arctic's comment, Chef Benny. And I realized I've missed something. I could have made Benedict's last name Hana. Because sometimes I'm a simple laugh. Yeah, I totally would have done that if I had thought about it at the time. I am not going through and changing his name at this point. That's just funny. I wish I had thought about it. Ah, fuck. God, that made me laugh more than it probably should have, but that's fine. The Great White North is always a great place to come and visit. Rain, you must live in America's hat. Ah, Canada, land of maple syrup and mounties. And that one province where the French Canadians live, where people are friendly but also kind of very antagonistic, from what I understand. Where Canada's like, yeah, they're part of us, but we're really not sure. Darkwind drew the short straw tonight. He's staying forever. I mean, I'm not opposed to Darkwind staying forever. It thanks to audiobooks, I learned how to read at 13. Harry Potter and Stephen Fry open up my world. Now I've got 322 audiobooks, over 1,000 Kindle books, and I've started on physical book hoard, so I'm starting to run out of room in the bedroom. I mean, fair enough, General Kenobi. Since you learned how to read at 13 with Harry Potter, means you're younger than me. That's inferment there because of things. Yeah, God, I'm old. I mean, I'm not as old as my parents, thank God, but getting up there. Do you know what you plan on replacing Lux's voice with when you finish it? Not yet, Arctic. I mean, I do have Grafting Demons out there, but it does rely also heavily on dungeons. Um, and I have been cautioned by people I listen to about running Heavenly Chaos, which has pockets, and Grafting Demons at the same time. So I'm probably going to have another series, and I haven't had another one jump out and wave its arms at me yet. So, as much as I'm enjoying Heavenly Chaos so far, I can't wait for Antecedents 3. It's my favorite of your current running series. Fair enough, Lost. Fair enough. I can stay awake during Andy's narrations. Most narrators put me to sleep. L, I 100% understand. 100% understand. Cooking is a craft, yes. See, there we go. And I've got the Chef Benny again. Cooking is a craft and an addiction. Well, guys, for those who enjoy when I talk about food in my series, be prepared for it in Heavenly Chaos. First time not on a Facebook stream. Ooh, wow. Wow. That has been some time, Leo. That has been some time. Welcome in. I do hope you guys enjoy the name of the cookbook I put into Heavenly Chaos. You'll understand when you get there. Everyone needs a little BDSM cookbook. You'll understand. Will I be flying to Vegas to sell books for you? The cost is $75. There you go. Darkwind found the cost of Jordan Con tickets. And no, Darkwind. I would not ask you to fly out here to sell books for me. If I did anything, I would do what I'm going to do at Jordan Con and give things away, not sell them. Because honestly, I don't want to have to go through the process of collecting it, figuring out what the sales tax is, and then making that payment to the government and blah 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 blah. And honestly, it's not worth the hassle. I'd rather just give things away and eat the loss. I'd rather give away promotional materials and take a loss. No problem, Rand. Thanks for coming in. Cult of the Spork. Do you want to sign your soul away to accept your savior, the Spork? I mean, Bragg, it's more, you should follow the teachings of the antecedents. Look at all they've given us. Do you think others have taken dragon steaks as delicacies and other books through the years? No. I think they've been a thing since as long as dragons have been in books. In AR, why does Gregory stuff all of his troops gear into his ring rather than just buying smaller rings for the sergeants? Because most non-magi can't use storage rings. They still need a connection to Aether to work. I think it had been hinted at once somewhere. Those kinds of rings do exist. They are not prevalent. They are either hard to make or they're just not made often because these things should stay with those people who have power, kind of thing. So it would also resolve the single point of failure issue if something were to happen to Gregory or his ring, which would, yeah, nothing can happen to that ring though. Something happening to Gregory would happen long before something happened to that ring, honestly, Rob. Woohoo! I didn't spoil AL3. Go me. Oh, hey, look, two first-time chatters. I will get down to their comments in just a second. Blurring is how we get spoilers. Dropping in to say hi, really love your writing, leaving because I want to watch this from the beginning to the end. Well, lawful, good, or evil, thank you for popping in, even briefly. Do make sure to check back later. You might have been one of the winners because I did just interact with your comment. So for those people, since it looks like I've almost caught up to you guys. Remember, I will be messaging people, whispering people here on Twitch by this time tomorrow, asking what coin you would like and where I'm sending it. So I will need shipping address and coin if I contact you. And if you're not in the United States and I have to fill out a customs form, guys, I need name and address because all that's got to go on a customs form. So I can't just use your name on Twitch if I have to put it on a customs form because governments are like that. Dune? Weird? Nah. I mean, oh hey, I did catch up to everyone, guys. Wow. Guys, look. 1 hour 53 minutes and I see the end of the thread. Y'all did I caught ya. Rob, that means you're like around the same age as my dad. So it's okay. Uh, come to Delaware, we have no sales tax. I will visit the East Coast again one of these days, Arctic. One of these days. I do in fact ship to the UK. I have shipped a good number of countries. One of the weirdest ones recently was I shipped one to. I want to. God, I'm gonna butcher this. I apologize in advance because I'm not looking it up. I think it was Norway, where the customs agent was like, "Well, you have to prove that this was a gift." As far as I know, the chat messages log from Twitch here was what was used to prove that yes, it was indeed a gift for it to actually be accepted by customs. Because if the government's involved, something will be fucked up. So yes, I do ship. They once again, guys, it's okay. It the cost of shipping the coins to people and stuff, that's a minimal loss. It is my way of giving back to the fans. It is okay that it costs me. You don't have to pay. I ship it to you. The only time it's annoying is when I ship it to somebody, and then for whatever reason, customs official jackass decides you forgot to click this one box, and even though it's obviously not worth anything, we're still sending it back to you and making you send it again. It's like, I really hate customs some days. Guys, it is a non monetary coin. Hmm, customs. Customs. Because customs. If you didn't think Dune could get any weirder, you should see the Dune popcorn bucket. I've seen it, Lost. I've seen it, and I've seen some of the people looking at it, and I feel kind of sorry for some people after they've gotten a hold. I feel sorry for that popcorn bucket after some people have gotten a hold of them, because people, people, yeah. Looks like we are. Anybody else? Last minute questions, guys. Last minute questions. Do in the chat. What is the best in life? Well, it's uh, what is that? Driving your enemies before you, hearing the lamentations of their women, something like that. It's been a long time since I've seen the first Conan movie, guys. Uh, that's how it is, but usually it's quite easy. Well, I mean, you get around however you can, right? Uh, coin. Do. Scariest sentence you'll ever hear is, "Hi, we're from the government and we're here to help." Anvil, 100% correct. 100% correct. Such an American thing to say. Mundus, it's not just America, but we do kind of embody that at times. Okay, everyone says goodbye. What book should I be reading right now? Having already read all of yours, if you haven't read the Vixen Warbride series, Burn the Mage, go read it. I will never pimp that book enough. I loved the character moments in Vixen Warbride. And no, it's not harem, even though the series sounds like it should be. Hard pathway, that's not a question, but thank you for the fun. Me and the wife have had a blast. Can't wait for the next book. No problem, Drigas. Thank you guys for coming in. Skull sort of throne, skull throne. Okay. To crush your enemies, drive them before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. That sounds more accurate, gamer. I would 100% say that you are correct. Okay, guys. Have a good night. Thank you for coming in. We have hit basically the 2 hour mark. This will be getting thrown over to YouTube when I clicky things. Um, check back this time tomorrow and see if you're one of the 5, 6, or 7 winners of coins. Because I would like to get all of those sent out before the end of the month if you are. So, until next month, which will be on the 15th at 3 p.m. Pacific, which is, hang on, 5 hours earlier than now, next month on the 15th. Got that? Everyone's on the same page, right? Okay. It's the event's already made up in the Discord channel for those people who are going to be there. If you are looking for me, of course, Discord, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitter. I do comment and update people on how things are going on all of those. So the new series will have a small harem, Leo. It is going to be the main character and two women, and that is going to be the cap of that series for the harem. I will not allow another Shauna moment to happen. And now I am going to click the go away button. Shauna moment to happen. So bye everyone.